Okay, welcome back to another movie review. I took yesterday off to relax. I did watch a lot of TV shows yesterday. But today, I'm going to try to do a movie review in one video. Like Friday the 13th, I did it in 3 videos. I'm going to try to keep to that with the Friday the 13th movies. But today, I'm going to do a review on Humungous. This is the Canadian 1982 release, directed by Paul Lynch, no relation to David Lynch, and written by William Gray. I remember the first time I saw this movie, Humungous, which would have been 1993, so that would have been about 23 years ago. I saw Humungous for the very first time at my local video store, and it wasn't. When I first saw it, I was like, I like this. The beginning of the movie it makes sense. That adds up to the rest of the film, but yeah, let's just get into the story here. At first. Now, the actors who played in this were actually a lot of Canadian actors. There was a couple of American actresses. But you have, the cast includes Janet Julian, David Wallace, John Wildman, Janet Baldwin, and Joy Bushell. Sandy, played by Janet Julian, is dating Eric Simmons, who's David Wallace. You may remember him from Mazes and Monsters, with that movie that played Tom Hanks. That was kind of like doing a homage to Dungeons and Dragons from the 80s. Nick Simmons, played by John Wildman, is his brother. He actually went on to play in My American Cousin, which was a Canadian movie. You have Carla Simmons, which happens to be the Nick and Eric's sister, Janet Baldwin, who a lot of cult fans may remember her from Ruby. And then you have Donna Blake, played by Joe Bushell, who went on to play in The Fly. And then she played an episode of Friday the 13th, the series, but never really did much movies after that. So basically, the Sandy, Eric, Nick, Carla, and Donna are all like living somewhat together, and they want to take a little trip to an island that has been abandoned, so they can like party or hang out or whatever. But prior to this, the beginning of the movie, it shows Ida Parsons, played by Shay Gardner, and she has a son. But before all that, she's having a party, and her dad is there, and she has these dogs. She's like really she's really a big dog lover. She has them in cages, but she likes to feed them and takes them for walks and stuff like that. And then she walks off because she's not happy about something. And then this character, played by Paige Fletcher, you may remember him from the Hitcher TV show from the 80s, plays Tom Rice, and he follows her, and he pretty much like rapes her basically. But the dogs have a sense that protect Ida, so the dogs somehow get out, and then they tear up this guy's throat. Which, you know, I mean, the beginning of the movie, it makes sense to a certain extent. Now, the DVD release of this actually lightens up the darkness of the film, because the VHS is like really dark, and you can't see a lot of things going on in the movie. And yeah, so the DVD is definitely one you want to pick up, so you can see more of the darkness has been lightened up, so you can actually see a lot more stuff in the film. And but anyway, it shows a bunch of photos and pictures of her on the island, and her eventually, and she ends up having a son, and that's about all you know. And you know, in the midst of all that, I mean, you've got the credits rolling and all that stuff. So then you go back to Sandy, Eric, Nick, Carla, and Donna, who go on this boat trip to go to this island, and they actually run into this guy that's stranded on the ocean, played by Lane Coleman. His name is Bert in the movie, and they take him onto the boat, and the younger brother Nick gets he's a little nuts anyway. So somehow he ends up setting the boat on fire, or no, they wreck into this thing because he's trying to take over the boat, and they end up wrecking, and somehow there's a fire that makes the boat. So they all jump out. They think that Carla is stuck on there, but eventually realize that she's not. They all end up on this island, and they're kind of like wondering what they're gonna do now, because they have no boat, and they're stuck on this island. So they took a couple of the characters go to this place, and they saw this house that's out in the woods. They don't know nothing about it, but then they end up the one brother ends up running off from them because he's like I said, he's a little crazy, and he ends up going to this dock area where there's like a messed up boat and all that, and then you see this like creature of some sort coming around and just kills him, and you're like, okay, what is all this all about? So it basically, it's kind of like there's a killer in the woods on this island that's killing these people one by one, and so you don't really know anything of what's going on or anything like that. You just presumably think that there's just like some crazy mountain man or whatever. And so basically, not only does Nick get killed, but Bert and Donna both get killed on the beach area where the monster just comes in there and kills her, but kills both of them. And then you have left to have Carla, Eric, and Sandy. And Eric and Sandy go to the house, and they realize that there was a person that used to live here and had a baby, but there are some dead dogs just left over, their bones and stuff left over in the cages and stuff. So obviously they're kind of putting pieces together to realize that there was somebody that lived here, but they don't know who it is. So, and then in the process of this, Sandy goes up into the main house and goes into the part where she can sees like a skeleton of a lady that's buried, and so she just throws it out of the way, and then Eric comes up there and says, "What's wrong?" So she screamed, and Carla sees her. Anyway, Carla ends up running off somehow. But before that happens, they go down in the basement, and they smell this real bad stench, and there's like dead bodies down in there, and so they find out that there's what's happened to all the friends that have actually died in there. And then Carla, she ends up running off somehow, but she ends up does getting killed by that person. And then Eric and Sandy find out that they go to the dock area. That's where they find, and they actually go back to the house and realize maybe they should take on this guy one-on-one. So they try to take this guy one-on-one, and then they end up Eric ends up getting killed because the monster goes and smashes his head. So Sandy runs up in there trying to hide from him, and then she realizes maybe she can pretend to be this person's son, because she realizes that that's her son. And the creature comes up there and he goes, "Go away, you know not to come in here." And the creature's like, "I don't know what's going on here." So it backs up and walks back out of the house, and then she realizes that he's gone, or at least thinks he's gone, and then she comes down, and all of a sudden he comes popping up, and basically she runs back to the dock area and trying to keep away from the creature, and she ends up getting the thing on fire, and the creature's stuck in there, and she thinks that he's dead, but he's not, because she's walking up on the hill, and then the creature comes up out of the water and comes after her, and she shoves this like sign into his stomach, and you hear him growling and gurgling and everything. Now, a little side note: the character who plays the monster in this, he's billed as Ida's son, but he is Gary Robbins. They called him the Paul Bunyan of the Great Northwest, which is Canada, and he was a wrestler. That's what he was called back then. But he went on to play in Wrong Turn as one of the inbred creatures in that. He happened to pass away in 2013, but he was like 7'2", 7'3". Yeah, so that, I mean, this was one of his first performances, and he did pretty good. Did pretty well as being a creature, and I mean, like I told you in the VHS, you really couldn't tell his makeup and all that stuff because it was so dark. But in the DVD, you definitely can see a lot better of it. So yeah, that's pretty much the plot of Humungous. Like I said, first time I saw it was '93, so that was 23 years ago, and it actually, when I saw it, I really liked it, and then when I saw it again when I bought the DVD, I was like, now I can actually see a lot more of this, the special effects, the creature look, some of the scenes where they cut where you can't see the blood and all that. You actually see a lot more better on there. It does have some special features on it as well, and yeah, so if it ever come to Blu-ray, I don't know. I mean, it's perfect just the way it has. Just on DVD is fine. So as far as my rating to go for Humungous, let's see. Out of 5 stars, I would probably give it a 3. Out of 5 stars, as far as IMDb rating, I would give it about 5.5, 5.5 out of 10. The things I liked about it was some of the acting. I really thought that Carla and Sandy actually did good performances for what they were given, and Eric was a good actor too. Now Nick, I don't know if it was just the way the direction that the storyline went in, but I didn't really care too much for him. And Donna's basically just there for eye candy, basically. She had red hair and she shows her boobs a couple times. That's about it. And as far as dislikes, like other than you know, the beginning movie having a rape scene in that, and then the dogs, you don't really see them get killed, but you see like the skeleton. I really did have to put that in there and show that, but I mean, I know why, because you know, it's been so many years that has gone by, and the only dislike I could say is some of the cinematography was okay, but they needed a lot more light to lighten it up. Even now, even on the DVD, there is certain scenes that are so dark that even the DVD can't really pick that part up. I mean, I understand it's on an island with no electricity and all that, but if you want to get somebody to get into the horror movie and like the characters and all that and the creature, you're gonna have to light it up a little bit. But there ain't too many things I dislike about it. I mean, I wouldn't give it like a 5 out of 5 stars, because I mean, there's a lot more better movies out there, a lot better horror movies out there. I mean, Humungous just happens to be one of the films that came out throughout the 80s, when you had like movies like The Burning, and you had Pieces, and you had House on Sorority Row, Final Exam, all kinds of different horror films, and this just happened to be one out of the type that actually I thought was okay for what it was. Now, as far as it holding up today, well, the Humungous holding up today. Let me fix something here real quick. Humungous actually holding up today, it can be a blessing and a curse. Depending on if people like 80s horror films, is basically what it amounts to. If you don't like 80s horror films, it definitely is not something will fit your cup of tea, or however you want to say it. But I think it holds up for what it is. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of bad horror films, whether it be from the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, or whatever. I've seen a bunch of horror films, but is it the cinematic masterpiece? No. Is it a something that people will always remember? And maybe. Recommended? I would recommend it, but you know, who am I to say whatever everybody would like to see? But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about the Humungous. So yeah, I am going to do another movie review kind of like this, where it's going to be over 15 minutes long, and but like I said yesterday, I just wanted to take a break. But next Friday I'll be doing Friday the 13th Part 2, and I'm going to do that in a 3-parter again, just like I did the first Friday 13th. I'm going to do one more review today. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but I'm thinking it may be Tales from the Dark Side. Now, you know how like Friday 13th I went through every episode and talked about it. Well, I'm not going to do that with Tales from the Dark Side. I will name each episode, but I am going to tell you which ones I liked and which I disliked. Yeah, so that will be on later today. And so yeah, thanks for everyone who has subscribed to my channel, and thanks for everyone who has commented or even given me a like. I got over almost 50 views in just the 3 Friday 13th, the 3-part Friday 13th video that I did Friday and early Saturday. So I hope to get at least 20 views on this. If not, oh well. I mean, I enjoy doing what I like to do, and if you like my videos, please subscribe. And if you enjoy seeing horror reviews or TV show reviews or update collections, just join the channel, and I will check you on the next one, which will probably more than likely be Tales from the Dark Side. And then on Friday will be Friday 13th Part 2 and a 3-parter. Anyway, thank you for subscribing, and you have a great day until I see you on the next one.